The chapel doors flew open with a bang that echoed like a gunshot, and I stumbled in, Ty Askew, heart pounding from the cab ride across San Francisco's fog-choked streets. All eyes snapped to me. 200 guests in pastel suits and silk dresses, frozen mid-clap as the organ swelled into silence. Jordan stood at the altar in his crisp black tux, mid-vow, his hand hovering over Emily's. But his gaze locked on mine like we'd never parted in the 5 years since college. And in that split second, I knew I'd just shattered the life he was building without me. Alex. His voice cut through the stunned hush, not angry, not confused, but raw, like he'd been holding his breath for years. The priest cleared his throat. Emily's bouquet trembled in her grip, but Jordan stepped forward, ignoring the murmurs rippling through the pews. Wait, don't go. It didn't feel right without you. I froze, the weight of his words pinning me there amid the scent of lilies and polished oak. The accident that brought me here, a misread invitation from a mutual friend, thinking it was just a reunion brunch, suddenly felt like fate's cruel joke. Or maybe its gift. Either way, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, as Jordan's family shot daggers from the front row, his mother's perfectly coiffed head tilting in disbelief. Emily turned then, her veil catching the light from the stained glass windows depicting saints in eternal embrace. She was stunning, all sharp cheekbones and confident poise, the kind of woman who'd always seemed too grounded for Jordan's whirlwind heart. Her eyes, a piercing green, flicked from him to me, assessing, not accusing. A small smile tugged at her lips, almost relieved, and she nodded once, as if this interruption was the punctuation she'd been waiting for. Well, she said softly, her voice carrying with that effortless California lilt, this just got interesting. The guests shifted uncomfortably, whispers building like a storm. Jordan's father, a burly real estate mogul with a perpetual scowl, rose halfway from his seat, but his wife pulled him down with a hissed warning. I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks, the old ache in my chest flaring up, the one that had never quite healed since Jordan chose the safe path after graduation, trading our late-night confessions for frat parties and internships that led straight to this altar. Jordan, what? I started, but he was already closing the distance, his hand on my arm steadying me like it used to when we'd sneak out to the Golden Gate Bridge at dawn, sharing dreams under the rising sun. Please, he murmured, low enough that only I could hear. Just stay. For the reception, at least. I need to talk to you. I should have bolted, should have muttered an apology and vanished into the fog outside. But his touch, warm and familiar, dragged me back to the boy who'd once whispered, I love you against my skin in a dorm room that smelled of ramen and possibility. So I nodded, numb, as Emily linked her arm through mine on the other side, steering us down the aisle like I was the surprise groomsman. The ceremony limped on, vows exchanged in clipped tones, rings sliding into place with mechanical precision. But every time I glanced at Jordan, his eyes found mine, a silent plea woven into the chaos I'd unleashed. By the time the recessional played, the air buzzed with speculation, old college buddies clapping me on the back with forced laughs, aunts I'd never met sizing me up like a threat. Outside, under the sprawling oaks of the Presidio venue, the photographer herded us for portraits. Emily insisted I join, her laughter light as she adjusted my lapel. You look like you saw a ghost, she teased. But there was no malice, only a quiet understanding that unnerved me more than anger would have. You're okay with this? I asked, glancing at Jordan, who was posing stiffly with his parents. She shrugged, her gown whispering against the grass. Happily ever afters aren't one-size-fits-all, Alex. And Jordan? He's been half gone since you left. Her words landed like a punch, stirring the guilt I'd buried under layers of new cities and new faces. 5 years ago, I'd walked away when he couldn't choose, couldn't face his family's expectations, the whispers in his conservative Bay Area circles. I told myself it was for the best, that love like ours was too fragile for the real world. But here, in the golden afternoon light, with seagulls crying overhead, I wondered if I'd ever really left. The reception tent glowed with fairy lights as dusk crept in, tables laden with crab cakes and champagne flutes. I hovered on the edges, nursing a drink, dodging toasts that now included awkward nods to the unexpected guest. Sam, my best friend since freshman orientation, a trans guy with a beard that could hide secrets and a wit sharp as a switchblade, had texted nonstop since I called him from the cab. Dude, you crashed a wedding? Spill. Now. He was en route from Oakland, promising backup, but for now, I was adrift in a sea of strangers who knew Jordan's curated version of himself. The golden boy architect, engaged to the poised gallery owner, future ticking along like clockwork. Then Mia appeared, Emily's maid of honor and oldest friend, a lesbian firebrand with cropped hair and tattoos peeking from her dress sleeves. She'd cornered me by the dessert table, fork spearing a macaron like it owed her answers. So, you're the ex, she said, not a question. The one he pines over in his sleep. I choked on my sip. Pines? Jordan doesn't. Oh, honey, he does. Emily and I talk. She's known about you since the engagement party. That's why she sent that invite to your old email. Thought fate might need a nudge. Mia's eyes sparkled with mischief, but beneath it, worry lines etched her face. But fair warning, his family's old school. Italian Catholic on his dad's side, with a side of Silicon Valley machismo. They think this is all a phase he'll outgrow. Her words twisted the knife. I'd met them once, briefly, during a holiday weekend that ended in Jordan's panicked, "We can't tell them yet." I'd respected it then, swallowed my hurt. Now, watching him dance with his mother, stiff, obligatory steps, I felt the old resentment bubble up. How many phases could a man live before he ran out of alibis? Jordan found me later, as the band shifted to a slow ballad, the kind we'd once swayed to in dive bars. He pulled me onto the floor without asking, his hand firm on my waist, bodies close enough to remember. "I'm sorry," he breathed, forehead nearly touching mine. "For everything." The music wrapped around us, a cocoon against the stairs. "You invited me to stay," I said, voice rough. "Why?" "Because seeing you. It woke something up. Emily's amazing, Alex. She's my best friend, really. But this..." He gestured vaguely at the tent, the cake, the life-sized ice sculpture of intertwined hands. "It's not me. Not without you in it, somehow." My pulse thundered. "Jordan, you're married. 10 hours ago, you said I do." He winced, pulling back just enough to search my face. "I know. God, I know. But walk with me. Outside. Just 5 minutes." We slipped away, past the valet stand, down a path lined with cypress trees that whispered in the bay breeze. The city lights twinkled across the water, the Golden Gate a distant silhouette. Jordan stopped at a bench overlooking the bay, sinking down like his bones had turned to lead. I thought I could do this. Build the life they wanted. Dad's retiring soon. Wants me to take over the firm. Mom's been planning this since I was in diapers. Emily. She gets it, the pressure. We clicked as friends first, and it snowballed. I sat beside him, close but not touching, the space between us charged. And me? What was I, Jordan? A college fling. His laugh was bitter, hands raking through his hair. "You were everything. That summer after sophomore year, when we drove to Big Sur and you told me it was okay to be scared. I fell so hard I couldn't see straight. But graduation hit, and the real world. It chews up guys like us if we're not careful." "Guys like us?" I echoed, the phrase tasting like ash. I'd come out at 18, loud and unapologetic, marching in pride with Sam chanting slogans till our throats were raw. Jordan had been quieter, testing the waters in stolen moments, always glancing over his shoulder. "You chose careful. I get it. But don't drag me into your what-ifs now." He turned, eyes glistening in the low light. "It's not a what-if. Emily and I, we talked last night. She's known she's more into women for years. Met someone at her gallery, actually. This wedding? It was mutual camouflage, until you showed up and made it real." Shock rippled through me. Emily Courtois? The pieces clicked. Her easy camaraderie with Mia, the way she'd looked at me not as a rival, but an ally. "So what now? You annul it and chase sunsets with me? Just like that?" Jordan's hand found mine, tentative, then sure. "No, not just like that. But stay through tomorrow? Let me show you I'm not the coward I was." The breeze carried laughter from the tent, a reminder of the world waiting. I squeezed his hand, the first crack in my armor. "One day? But Jordan, if this is another phase." "It's not." His voice cracked, fierce. "I promise." As we walked back, arm in arm like ghosts of who we'd been, I felt the first stirrings of hope, fragile as sea glass. Little did I know, the real storm was just breaking. Sam's arrival with truths I'd buried, Mia's secrets unraveling Emily's facade, and Jordan's family circling like sharks scenting blood. But in that moment, under the stars, it felt like enough. Sam barreled into the venue like a force of nature, his beat-up Prius screeching to a halt just as the last stragglers were toasting the cake. He burst through the tent flap in a rumpled button-down, eyes wild, spotting me across the dance floor where Jordan and I had retreated to neutral corners. "Alex, what the actual fuck?" He enveloped me in a bear hug that smelled of patchouli and urgency, his voice a stage whisper that carried anyway. Heads turned. Jordan's cousin, a tipsy accountant, paused mid-sip. "Shoo," I hissed, pulling him to a quieter table piled with half-eaten petit fours. "It's complicated." "Complicated? You text me at a wedding. It's Jordan's. Help and expect me to play calm." Sam's transition had been a masterclass in resilience. Top surgery funded by gig economy hustles. Name change fought tooth and nail in court. But his loyalty to me was fiercer than any hormone shift. We'd bonded over bad hookups and worse hangovers. Him as the straight-passing ally turned brother-in-arms. Spill. From the crash. I recounted it all. The wrong invite. The doors banging open. Jordan's plea. Sam's eyebrows climbed higher with each detail, until he let out a low whistle. "And Emily? She's cool with this bromance reboot." "More than cool. She's..." I hesitated, glancing toward where she held court with Mia, their heads bent in animated talk, hands gesturing like old lovers. Part of the queer club, apparently. Sam's laugh was a bark. "No shit." I clocked her vibe at that art opening last year, subtle rainbow pin on her clutch. "So what's the play? You two rekindle while they fake divorce." Before I could answer, Jordan approached, Emily in tow, her arm looped through his like a lifeline. Up close, the strain showed. Faint shadows under his eyes, the way he leaned into her a fraction too much. "Sam," Jordan said, extending a hand with genuine warmth. "Long time. Glad you made it." Sam shook it, sizing him up. "Yeah, well, Alex's family. Wouldn't miss the drama." His tone was light, but his grip lingered, a subtle warning. Emily chuckled, pouring champagne for us all. "Drama's the spice of life." To unexpected guests, and the truths they drag in. We clinked, the bubbles fizzing like nerves, but as the night wore on, the undercurrents pulled stronger. Later, after the band packed up and guests trickled out, the four of us, me, Jordan, Emily, Mia, ended up in a dimly lit lounge adjoining the venue, nursing nightcaps. Sam had crashed on a couch nearby, snoring softly after one too many whiskeys. Mia, ever the instigator, leaned forward, elbows on the scarred oak table. "Okay, cards on the table. Emily, you first. Why the wedding charade?" Emily sighed, tracing the rim of her glass. Her poise cracked just a bit, revealing the woman who'd clawed her way from a small-town Oregon upbringing to curating queer artists in the city. Family mostly. Mine's evangelical holdouts, pray the gay away types. Jordan's are country club closeted. Dad's got that man-of-the-house complex. We met at a fundraiser, bonded over bad wine and worse small talk. Figured why not? Safety in numbers. Plus, the tax breaks ain't nothing to sneeze at. Jordan nodded, his knee brushing mine under the table. Accidental? Intentional? It made sense on paper. Until Alex walked in, and suddenly the ink blurred. Mia's gaze sharpened on me. "And you?" Crashing like a rom-com hero. "What's your damage, Alex? Still nursing that grudge from senior year?" The question stung, dredging up the night I'd found Jordan with his ex-girlfriend from high school. A farewell hookup, he'd called it, tears streaming as he begged forgiveness. I'd packed my shit and ghosted, landing in Seattle for a graphic design gig that numbed the pain but never erased it. Grudge implies I care enough to hold one. I lied, but my voice wavered. "Bullshit," Sam mumbled from the couch, not even opening his eyes. "You care. That's why you're still here." Silence fell, heavy as fog. Jordan's hand found my knee then, deliberate, squeezing once. "I was scared, Alex. Of losing the family business, the approval. But mostly, of dragging you down with me." Emily watched us, her expression soft. "We can fix this. Annulment's easy in California, no fault, quick as a signature. I've got a lawyer friend who's discreet. But Mia shook her head, fierce. Easy for you two straights. Sorry, Jordan, bye for nows, to say. What about the fallout? His folks will disown him. My sister's the same. Married a guy to normalize. Now she's miserable and hiding bruises from the closet door. The words hung, a warning flare. I'd seen it in our circles. Friends lost to conversion camps. Relationships splintered by whispers. Jordan's face paled. They won't. I'll handle it. Like you handled coming out to your brother? Mia pressed, and I caught the flicker. Heard in Jordan's eyes, a story untold. Wait, I said, turning to him. You told Marco? Jordan swallowed hard. Last month. He didn't take it well. Said I was throwing away everything for a phase. Blocked me on everything. The vulnerability cracked me open. Marco, the little brother who'd idolized Jordan, tagging along to our pickup games, oblivious to the subtext. Why didn't you say? Didn't want to burden you. His thumb traced circles on my knee, a habit from lazy Sundays in bed. Emily stood then, decisive. Enough heavy. Mia, dance with me? Let's give these boys space. She pulled Mia up, their laughter echoing as they swayed to phantom music in the empty lounge. Alone with Jordan, and Sam pretending to sleep, I leaned in. This isn't just about us. Think it through. I am. He cupped my face, breath mingling. For the first time in years. Our lips met, soft, tentative, a spark in the dry tinder of memory. It wasn't fire, not yet, but the promise of it warmed the chill I'd carried too long. As we broke apart, Sam's fake snore hitched, a grin cracking his facade. About damn time. But outside, tires crunched on gravel. Jordan's father, early for the breakfast brunch, his silhouette looming in the doorway. The reckoning had arrived sooner than dawn. The morning sun sliced through the hotel curtains like judgment, pulling me from a fitful sleep tangled in sheets that smelled of Jordan's cologne. We'd stumbled to his suite after the lounge confessions, too wired for goodbyes, collapsing into separate beds but inches apart in the King Suite's sitting area. Now, as I blinked awake, he was already up, pacing in boxers and an undershirt, phone clutched like a grenade. Dad's here, he said, voice tight. Wants to discuss the spectacle over coffee. Emily's stalling him in the lobby. I sat up, rubbing sleep from my eyes, the events of last night crashing back. The kiss, soft as forgiveness. Sam's approving grunt. The unspoken pact that this, us, might just be worth the wreckage. Want me to vanish? Play decoy. Jordan stopped, kneeling by my bed, his hand warm on my ankle. No. Stay? Please. If we're doing this, it's all in. His resolve steadied me, even as my stomach knotted. I'd built walls in Seattle. Casual dates with baristas who quoted poetry, freelance gigs that kept me moving. But Jordan had always been the what if, the road not taken. Now, facing his father's glower, I wondered if I had the grit for the miles ahead. Down in the lobby, the scene was a powder keg. Jordan's parents at a corner table, Dad's face thunderous over his black coffee, Mom fussing with sugar packets, her pearls a shield. Emily sat between them, serene as a mediator, while Mia hovered nearby, scrolling her phone with feigned disinterest. Sam lounged by the continental spread, loading a plate like it was armor. Jordan slid into the booth first, pulling me beside him, a declaration. Mom, Dad, this is Alex. From college. Mr. Rossi's eyes narrowed, appraising my rumpled shirt and 5 o'clock shadow. The gatecrasher. Charming. Mrs. Rossi forced a smile, brittle as china. We remember you, dear. Such a nice boy. Architect, too, like our Jordan. Graphic designer. I corrected, accepting a mug from Emily. Freelance. A beat of silence. Then Dad leaned forward, voice low. Son, what was that stunt last night? Bursting in like a bad movie, turning our celebration into a circus. Jordan's jaw set. It wasn't a stunt, Dad. Alex is important to me. And the wedding. It was a mistake. The table froze. Mom's hand flew to her throat. Mistake? Jordan, you love Emily. She's perfect. I care for her. Deeply. Jordan cut in, glancing at Emily, who nodded supportively. But as a friend, we're annulling it. Today. Dad's coffee sloshed as he slammed the mug down. Annulling? After the deposit, the vows, the photos? Because of him. His finger jabbed toward me, accusation dripping. Not because of him, Jordan said, voice steady but eyes flashing. For me, I'm gay, Dad. Have been since college. Alex crashing. It just made me see I couldn't hide anymore. The word gay landed like a slap. Mom gasped, crossing herself. Dad's face mottled red. Gay? That's nonsense. You're confused, stress from the firm, this economy. We'll get you help. A therapist, like Uncle Vinny. Sam, who'd wandered over with his plate, snorted into his croissant. Uncle Vinny? The one who prayed away his urges till he imploded? Solid plan. Dad rounded on him. And who the hell are you? Another one of these. Activists. Sam, he said evenly, setting his plate down. Alex's best friend. Trans man, if labels help. And yeah, activist, proudly. But this ain't a protest. It's family. Mia joined then, sliding into the booth with a fresh pot of coffee. Or what passes for it. Listen, Mr. Rossi, love's not a business deal. Emily and I, we're together, actually. Have been for months. The wedding was cover for both sides. The revelation rippled out, Mom's pearls clattering as she fumbled them. Emily reached for her hand. It's true, Isabella. I love Mia. Jordan loves Alex. We were all just performing. Dad shoved back from the table, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. Performing? This is betrayal. I built that firm for you, Jordan, for a legacy, grandkids, stability. Jordan stood, matching his height. The legacy's mine to redefine. And stability? Hiding who I am isn't stable, it's a cage. Tears welled in Mom's eyes. But the family, Tesoro. What will they say? The church. We'll find our church, Jordan said softly, pulling her into a hug. One that loves us as we are. Dad stormed out, muttering about lawyers and disappointments. But Mom lingered, her hug tightening around Jordan before she turned to me. You make him happy? Truly. More than words, I promised, throat tight. She nodded, wiping her eyes. Then hold on. He's worth it. As they left, the lobby emptying, Emily and Mia linked hands openly, a quiet victory. Sam clapped Jordan's back. Balls of steel, man. Respect. But Jordan sagged against me, the adrenaline crashing. That was round one. Dad won't let go easy. We retreated to the suite, the annulment papers signed by noon. A notary from Emily's contacts, efficient as a business lunch. Afternoon brought uneasy peace. Walks along the Presidio trails, Sam regaling us with tales of his latest coding bootcamp drama. Mia sketching caricatures that had us howling. Yet under it, tensions simmered. Jordan's phone buzzing with ignored texts from Marco, my own doubts whispering that 5 years rust couldn't polish overnight. Evening found us at a hole-in-the-wall taqueria in the Mission, far from wedding finery, surrounded by murals of Aztec warriors and rainbow flags snapping in the wind. It was Sam's idea, real food for real talks. And as we demolished al pastor tacos, grease-dripped napkins piling up, the barriers crumbled further. Tell me about Seattle, Jordan said, his foot hooked around mine under the table. The life you built without me. I shrugged, chasing salsa with a Corona. Rainy. Creative. Dated a barista named Theo, poet, terrible at mornings. Broke it off when he wanted labels I wasn't ready for. Sam smirked. Theo was a flake. You pined for Mr. Tux here the whole time. Not pining, I protested, but Jordan's smile said he saw through it. And you? I turned the spotlight. The firm, big projects? He nodded, eyes distant. Skyscrapers downtown, green builds. But it's hollow. Dad's shadow everywhere. Last week, I pitched a community center for queer youth, got shot down. Not our brand. Mia's fork paused, then quit. Start your own. Emily and I could hook you up, gallery space for pop-ups, investors who give a damn. The idea lit something in him, a spark I'd missed. Maybe, with Alex? Design the branding. Our eyes met, possibility humming. But then his phone lit up, Marco's name, a voicemail. Jordan played it on speaker, the booth falling silent. Bro, Dad's losing it. Says you're throwing us away for some guy. Mom's crying all night. Call off this bullshit before you ruin everything. Click. Jordan's face crumpled. He doesn't get it. He will, Emily said firmly. Or he won't. But you can't live for him. We paid and wandered the streets, neon signs buzzing, street artists hawking portraits. Sam peeled off for a dive bar rendezvous, Scout's honor, no drama, leaving us four to a quiet park bench, City sounds a distant roar. There, in the hush, Jordan broke. I told Marco partial truths about the wedding, not me. Thought it'd soften the blow. But he worships Dad. I pulled him close, his head on my shoulder. Give it time. Like us. Mia and Emily shared a look, then stood. We're grabbing gelato. One. We waved them off, alone at last. Jordan's fingers traced my palm. Remember that road trip? Yosemite, the tent that leaked. I laughed, the memory flooding back. Rain pattering, us zipped in sleeping bags, whispering futures. You burned the Esmores. Said it was artistic char. His chuckle rumbled against me. I'd do it again. All of it. The kiss that followed was deeper, hungrier, tasting of lime and longing. But as fireworks cracked overhead, some distant celebration, we pulled apart, the world intruding. Back at the hotel, Sam waited with news, tracked down Marco's Insta. Kids posting cryptic shit, quotes about lost brothers. Might be salvageable. Hope flickered, but dawn brought the hammer. Dad's email, forwarded by Mom. Disinheritance threat, firm shares revoked, a plea to come to your senses. Jordan read it aloud, voice hollow. It's official. War. But in his eyes, defiance burned. Worth it. I kissed his temple. Every scar. Little did we know, Marco was already en route. Bag packed, ready to pick sides, and the choice would shatter us all over again. Marco arrived like a thunderclap, pounding on the suite door at 7 a.m., his duffel thudding to the floor as Jordan yanked it open. The kid, 22 now, all lanky limbs and shadowed jaw, looked like a younger, angrier version of his brother, eyes bloodshot from an all-nighter drive from Sacramento. You gonna explain this crap, or just hide behind your boyfriend? Jordan recoiled as if slapped, but I stepped forward, hand extended. Marco, Alex, good to. Save it. He shouldered past, dumping his bag on the couch where Sam snored, oblivious. Emily and Mia, bleary-eyed from their adjacent room, emerged with coffee pots brewing salvation. The air thickened, accusations flying like shrapnel. Dad called me at 3 a.m. Marco spat, pacing. Sobbing about legacies, about you shaming the name. Mom's popping Valium like candy. And you what? Decide mid-vows to play house with your college fuck buddy. Marco, Jordan's face flushed. That's not, isn't it? Snuck peeks at your phone last visit. Those texts to miss your laugh, heart emojis. Thought it was a girl. But nah, it's him. His glare pinned me. You poison him against us? I held steady, years of design critiques honing my cool. No poison. Just truth. Jordan's choosing himself. Sam stirred then, cracking an eye. Kid, chill. Coffee. Marco ignored him, rounding on Emily. And you? Faking it for what? A green card? Mia's your side piece. Mia's laugh was sharp. Side piece. Try soulmate. We've been solid since college. Your bro knew? Played along to keep peace. The kid deflated, sinking onto the armchair, head in hands. Peace? This is war. Dad's freezing accounts, talking lawyers. Says if you don't straighten up, you're out. Jordan knelt before him, voice breaking. Then I'm out. But you're not. Come with me, build something new. Marco's sob escaped, raw. I can't. Soccer scholarships tied to Dad's donations. My girlfriend, Catholic girl, wants marriage, kids. If I back you, it's all gone. The room stilled, the weight of inherited chains palpable. Emily poured coffee, her touch gentle on Marco's shoulder. Choices suck. But hiding? It eats you alive. I did it for years, dated guys, smiled for Mom's church friends. Woke up one day hating the mirror. Sam nodded, pouring for himself. Amen. Transitioned at 25. Lost half my family. Gained twice the self-respect. Worth it. Marco looked up, tears streaking. But Jordan's the golden child. I'm just me. You're enough, Jordan whispered, hugging him fierce. Brothers clung, the sight twisting my gut with envy and ache. I'd lost my own sibling to distance after coming out, a slow fade of holidays and calls. Hours blurred, breakfast in, stories swapped. Marco softened, even cracking jokes about Dad's macho mustache phase. By noon, he'd agreed to neutral ground, a mediated call with parents, Emily's lawyer facilitating. But as we prepped, my phone buzzed. Theo, my ex, texting from Seattle. Heard about the wedding crash. Saw pics online. You and the groom? Call if you need backup. Or a drink. Attached, a screenshot from a gossip subreddit. Bay Area wedding wrecked by ex-lover. Queer drama unfolds. Panic spiked. Jordan, it's out. He scanned it, paling. How? The photographer. Doesn't matter, Mia said, scrolling. Damage control. Post your truth first. We drafted a joint statement. Jordan and Emily, co-authored. Celebration turned clarity. We're parting as friends, embracing authentic lives. Grateful for support. Photos, us four, arms linked, smiles genuine. It went viral by afternoon, comments a torrent, support from queer icons, vitriol from trolls. Dad's call came midstorm. See what you've done? Front page of the Cron now. Jordan hit speaker. Then read it, Dad. The part where I say I love you. Even if you can't love this me. Silence, then a grunt. Your mother's here. Says. Talk. Mom's voice, tentative. We flew down. Meet at the house. Dinner. Marco's eyes widened. Now. Now. Jordan agreed, squeezing my hand. All of us. The Rossi home in Pacific Heights loomed like a fortress. Victorian gingerbread. Bay views from wraparound porches. We piled out of Ubers, a ragtag alliance. Brothers shoulder to shoulder, Emily and Mia hand in hand, Sam and I flanking like sentinels. Inside, tension crackled. Dad in his armchair, scotch in hand, Mom fluttering with antipasti. No warm embraces, just stiff nods, plates passed in silence. Then Jordan spoke, voice clear. I love Alex. Plan to build with him. But I need you both in my life. Or at least, not against it. Dad's grip whitened on his glass. Love. What does that even mean? Men don't. They do. Mom interjected, surprising us. Your cousin Luca, in New York? With that artist. Happy. Grandkids via surrogacy, even. Dad gaped. You knew? She shrugged. Mothers know. And I want my son whole. The dam broke then. Tears, shouts, hugs. Dad grumbled concessions. Firm's yours if you want. But no, displays at holidays. Deal. Jordan laughed, pulling him up. As night fell, Marco pulled me aside on the porch. You get it, right? The pull. I nodded, clapping his back. Fight for your path, kid. We'll be here. Back in the city, buzz lingered, interviews requested, but we ducked, focusing inward. Weeks blended. Jordan quitting the firm, us sketching logos for his new venture over takeout. Sam crashed often, Mia and Emily hosted game nights. Prejudices lingered, Dad's gruff calls, Marco's hesitant visits, but growth rooted. One evening, atop Coit Tower, city sprawling below, Jordan knelt, not with a ring, but a key. To my place. Ours if you stay. I pulled him up, kissing deep. Staying. Surprises lingered. Emily's gallery show, our designs featured. Sam's promotion, toasting with craft beers. Misunderstandings mended. Conflicts forged stronger bonds. Love, it turned out, wasn't a crash, but a steady drive, fog lights on, toward dawn. Yet in quiet moments, I traced Jordan's scars, family rifts half-healed, doubts whispering. Scared, I asked once, tangled in sheets. Terrified, he admitted. You? Every day. But together, we faced it, friends as anchors, hearts aligned. The wedding wreckage? Best accident ever.